Hi, and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I am Dan York, and it's our first program of 2016, and we are speaking with Rob Cox. He's from the Maplewood Community Center, and he is our Marketplace Navigator Coordinator. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And we want to talk about the healthcare marketplace, the Affordable Care Act. Some refer to it as Obamacare. They might know it more commonly as that. But Garden City has received a grant, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes, that's being executed at the Maplewood Community Center. And the object being trying to get as many people signed up for health care in our community as we possibly can in some of the surrounding communities through the Affordable Care Act. And Rob, let's start off with the grant itself.
Sure.
What was the grant for? When did we get it? And what are we trying to do with it?
So the grant started in October, and it's a federal grant that allows us to hire marketplace navigators to help people sign up for health insurance through the marketplace. And so our navigators, we currently have 7 navigators who are helping people sign up and get insurance and affordable insurance. And we're really trying to just help out where we can and trying to reach the communities, Garden City as well as other communities as well.
And so this is a federal grant, correct?
Federal grant, correct.
So this actually costs the city of Garden City nothing to operate.
Nothing to operate, which is one of the really nice things, especially with the cooperation agreement that we have with some of the other cities as well. So we're actually going out, doesn't cost anything for anybody, except for some time to come and sit down with us, which is great.
So now the Affordable Care Act, which still leads to a lot of confusion with people, and this is primarily for people who either have no insurance with their current employer, or maybe are unemployed and have no insurance. And one of the things in 2016 is some of these penalties that have been talked about for not carrying some form of health insurance, they start to kick in now. Is that correct?
Yeah, and so with the open enrollment periods, it's really going to be important that people know that we're here even after open enrollment ends. There's going to be special circumstances that people still need to enroll into health insurance if they lose their job, or if they have any other life circumstance or life change, which is important to know. So we're going to be around for the next few years helping people enroll with that.
Okay.
In regards to the penalties are pretty steep this year. So if you don't have coverage for a time during the year, there are penalties that a person can pay, and it's up to $695 per person, per adult. And then it's $350 per child, and up to 2.5% of your gross income. So there are some pretty steep costs, and most people find that with the penalties that are in place, they could actually get some kind of coverage, so they don't get those penalties, which is important to know as well.
And if you're someone who's a little bit younger, definitely younger than me, but there are very inexpensive plans especially for people, I don't want to draw a line here, but into their 30s, for example, as opposed to, old coots like me. But for plans like that, they're pretty cheap.
There are some pretty cheap plans out there, and there's also tax credits you can get. So that means that they'll actually give you, some tax credit to help you actually pay for your plans, and some cost sharing benefits as well.
Right.
And so that means that people, can cheapen their plan just by answering a few more questions, on your applications. And it's as simple as that, which is really nice.
So the point of our program, our Navigator program at Maplewood Community Center and in the other areas throughout Western Wayne County, is to guide people through this, because people can just go online and do this.
Sure.
But it's not always that simple.
Sure, and some people, feel more comfortable sitting down with somebody face to face with a navigator, and it's really being walked through the application. There are some instances where there's some documents that might need to be uploaded, or there's times where you need to call in and speak with somebody at the marketplace to really help you answer some questions. And that's what we really facilitate We help make sure documents are uploaded. We call in with you. We really help walk you through and really assist in the application.
And obviously, your experience in dealing with everyone else should give you some insight, at least, as to the better ways to go about this and how to make sure you're successful in the application process.
Sure. We don't want people to miss questions. We don't want people to, go through the questions and, have some concerns. So we want to, settle all those concerns as soon as possible, so that way people can get signed up as soon as possible. There is a deadline, with open enrollment.
So that is January 31st.
January 31st. And so to begin your insurance by January 31st, you have to actually enroll by the 15th of this month.
Okay.
Of January 15th.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of time gap, but to have that.
But there's some urgency here.
There is.
Yeah. So now you have an event, and we'll back up in a second and talk more about this. But you have a couple of events coming up this Saturday, the first Saturday before this is airing. Tell us about that. One in Garden City, one in Westland.
Yeah, so the event is an open enrollment event, and what we're doing is really just trying to reach out to the community and to Westlands, even to Dearborn Heights, where our navigators are stationed. And so our event's going to help people have people come in. You don't have to have an appointment, which is awesome. So you can come in. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to go through an application. There are some things that you need to make sure that you bring with you: your Social Security numbers. You don't have to actually bring the cards, but the numbers, and your W-9, and any information in regards to any current health plans that you do have. So.
Right. So W-9 if you're contracted, a W-4 if you're
W-4
employed, correct? As
Correct.
an employee somewhere. Okay.
Yep. So, and if you're not employed, that's fine as well. We can still help you, find something that might work for you. So
that's Saturday the 9th of January.
Saturday, January 9th, from 10 until 2. And that's going to be, one event's going to be at the Maplewood Community Center. The other event's going to be at Jefferson Barnes in Westlands at the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center.
Okay.
And so we're going to have an open door, so anybody's welcome to walk in and ask questions and just see what see if we can help out.
So if someone's not going to this event on Saturday,
Right.
and again the clock is ticking.
It is.
Let's say they want to come into the Maplewood Community Center. Do they need to make an appointment?
They don't need to. You can walk in. Calling to make an appointment is great because that way we can make sure that we have time set aside just for you.
Okay.
And with our other centers as well, with our navigators, you can still just walk in. And we do have 2 sites in Dearborn Heights, one at the Eaton Center, Senior Center, and one at the Berwyn Senior Center. We also have 2 in Westland, one at Westland City Hall and one at the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center. So any of those sites you can just walk into and get help, get the assistance that you need. And you can call, though, at the same time, which is great. You can make an appointment. That way we have time set aside just for you.
Sure.
So.
And being that this is a federal grant, that's why we're in more communities than just Garden City.
Yeah, it's a cooperative agreement with the other cities. They see the need as well. There is a need for, we know within the, this demographic of the city that a lot of people may not have insurance, which, we understand. And that's why we saw the need to come into the city as well as reach out to the other cities who see the need as well, which is really great.
And even regardless, it's a law now.
Yeah.
So people will be penalized if they don't have insurance.
And that's right. And what we want to see is, even though you may not get hurt or you may not get sick too often, there are going to be situations where we all know, because it is a law, we have to have insurance, some form of insurance. So we can also help sign up for other types of insurance as well, Medicaid. We can help sign up for Medicare as well, which is something that a lot of people maybe don't know. We can also help sign up for Medicaid, the CHIP program for youth as well.
And not to confuse the 2 programs,
Correct.
But the Healthy Kids, Happy Families project that's also going on through the Maplewood Community
Right.
Center, that one is designed to get health insurance for kids
Yeah, correct.
at no cost or very reduced cost for people that qualify.
Right.
So I imagine if someone is coming through the Navigator marketplace,
Correct.
and if you folks recognize through the tax information they provide that they may
Correct.
qualify for this, you're then able to refer them to that program.
Absolutely, and it's in the same office too, which is great. And you know, we have a top-notch navigators. We have navigators who really care, who really are thoughtful, who understand that when we're sitting down with somebody to do an application, we're talking about some pretty heavy stuff. We're talking about you know, finances. We're talking about the people in the home.
Mm-hmm.
We're also talking about stuff that's you know, with some situations there's immigration status, you know, which luckily for us through our navigators, it's typically not an issue. Just looking at some criteria that needs to be met, you know.
So what's the phone number that people should call if they want to contact Maplewood Community Center regarding this?
So the number is going to be 734-793-1849.
Okay.
You can call that number, and Kara Reed is one of our navigators, and she's a great person. She's a great person to have on staff, and really does a great job with getting people enrolled. So, and that number can be called directly to get people hooked up.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your background. Obviously, if you're the coordinator of this entire program, you have a background and a history here in Garden City already.
I do have a little bit of history in Garden City, which is you know, really interesting. I worked for Garden City at the Maplewood Community Center with the Family Resource Center for some time, and did that work for a while, and worked in prevention and worked in community coalition, you know, state coalition stuff as well. I also have my degree in social work, my master's degree in social work from Wayne State. So, and I also teach at Madonna University. So,
Okay.
It's you know, my heart is here in Garden City. So I used to work here, so now I live here. So you know, I really try to make it. It's a part of my heart, and
Okay.
I really want to see people succeed. And
Sure.
part of that is, you know, knowing that, you know, with some insurance, people don't have to, you know. As a lot of people do end up in situations where, you know, you just can't afford, you know,
Well,
medical
and
bills.
for some people, you know, having grown up in Garden City,
Yeah.
there's always been a stigma attached to certain things.
Sure.
And asking for help is one of those things that's had a stigma attached. But really, with the law that's in place, there
Right.
should be no stigma because this is a requirement.
Right. So, you know, we are breaking some of those barriers down by just bringing up the topic. We're bringing up the topic of insurance. We're talking about money. We're talking about, you know, things that may feel personal. But, you know, the thing is that with this law, it's just like if you're going to go get insurance for your car. There's some of the same requirements there, right?
Sure.
You know, not to compare the two, you know, because this is talking about your life, you know, health insurance,
Right.
you know, and that's there's so much more importance to having the ability to go in and take care of yourself. A lot of the plans, you know, are really designed to meet some really strict standards that have been put in place with the essential health benefits. So that means, you know, getting checkups and, you know, that are free. Making sure that, you know, blood work, you know, all those things, you know, are included in some of those essential health benefits, which is really important.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right. So the deadline to enroll by law
by law.
is January 31st,
It is.
2016.
Yep.
The deadline to make sure you're insured by February 1st is January 15th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And your event, again, talk about that event one more time.
The event, the open enrollment event, it's going to be January 9th, both at Garden City, the Maplewood Center in Garden City, as well as Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center, excuse me, in Westland. And so those events, you can walk in, you don't have to call, and we'll help get you signed up, and just make sure that you bring some information
Sure.
with you, and we can go from there. If you have any questions, again, you can call the 734-793-1849 number,
Very good.
and we can go from there.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with this project, and I hope you're able to get everybody
Perfect.
signed up that needs to be signed up.
Absolutely. We're trying to reach for 100% of Garden City. As we all know, it's a big task ahead of us,
Sure.
but we're here to do it, so which is great.
Well, you folks do a great job at the Maplewood Center through the Community Resources Department, through the Family Resource Center. There's a lot going on at the Maplewood
There
Community
is.
Center that people maybe don't know about because it doesn't affect them directly, but there is a lot of outreach going on there.
You know, and that's one of the nice things is, you know, there's something for everybody there, from, you know, youth to seniors. And I think we may not see that sometimes, and we may not know what's actually going on there.
Yeah.
It's important to check it out, you know, and so you can just walk in, check out the community center, and see what they do have going on there, so which is great.
Well, best of luck with all of this.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate you having us, you know,
All
here
right,
as well,
very
so.
good. Well, that wraps up this special edition of Omni Edition Garden City. Again, if you'd like to go to the open enrollment event, it comes up on Saturday, January 9th from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock at the Maplewood Community Center here in Garden City in Jefferson Barnes and Westland.
Yeah.
Again, the deadline to make sure you're insured by February 1st is January 15th, and you absolutely positively must be signed up by January 31st. And again, this is for folks who don't have insurance already.
Correct, or even want to change your plan still up until you know January 31st. So
All right.
you can still, which is great.
All right, very good. Rob Copps, thank you very much. All right, that's it for Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York. Thanks very much for watching, and good night, everybody.